NASA test of the rocket and crew capsule that will one day take the first female and person of color to the moon will have to wait for another day. The agency called off the launch of its Space Launch System rocket and Orion crew capsule after several issues came up during the countdown to launch, including engine problems and fuel leaks. NASA scrub super rocket test launch now playing women at. NASA say Artemis program is making history, we don't launch until it's right. NASA chief on scrubbed moon mission. NASA scrubs Artemis test flight to the moon. NASA prepares to make history with Artemis. The rocket is in a safe and stable condition after a temperature problem was identified with one of the engine's boosters. Engineers tried to solve the problem by running super cold liquid hydrogen through it, but they ultimately could not get the temperature down. Launch controllers were continuing to evaluate why a bleed test to get the Rs-25 engines on the bottom of the core stage to the proper temperature range for liftoff was not successful, and ran out of time in the 2-hour launch window, NASA said in a statement. Engineers are continuing to gather additional data. NASA paused the countdown to launch 40 minutes from liftoff as engineers tried to solve the issue. The process was already close to an hour late due to thunderstorms off Florida's Kennedy Space Center in Florida's Cape Canaveral. The next available launch date is September 2, but Daryl Nail, the NASA launch commentator, said we must wait to see what shakes out from their testing of the engine. Nail also said that the issue that occurred on Monday was one they had wanted to previously test during an earlier dress rehearsal but were unable to. This was the first opportunity for this team to see this live in action, Nail said. The mission, called Artemis I, is the first in a series of increasingly complex missions to build a long-term human presence at the moon for decades to come, according to NASA. Artemis II aims to take a crew around the moon no earlier than 2024, and Artemis III will land the first woman and person of color on the moon. The Orion crew capsule will travel 40,000 miles beyond the far side of the moon and stay in space longer than any human spacecraft has without docking to a space station. No humans will be on board. Instead, mannequins will ride on the spacecraft with sensors that measure factors like radiation and vibrations. One of the goals of the Artemis program is to learn how to live on the moon so that the U.S. can safely send people to Mars.